ahead and get started. We do have a quorum. We have the minutes in front of us, so everyone had the opportunity to review those. So, is there any changes?
No. I think I was it. Was it me, the only one? Me and Tracy? Jimbo, were you here? Was it me and you
I think it was.
I was out.
me, Tracy, me and Tracy, is it?
Tennessee.
I do not have any myself either, so
I make a motion to approve the minutes from April. From May. No, not May. What is this, from
March.
March? Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second it. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? No. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. New business. Bless you. Youth leagues,
Is
the
that
football. Will and Eric and I did meet with Mr. Hackelman, which is the board president of football, and I'll let Will kind of go from there, whatever he wants to discuss about that.
Pretty much, I just wanted to give you an update. You'd asked for me to set up a meeting, so we set up a meeting and just wanted to make sure their heart was still in it. And I think they are. They're just, they have some reservations about money and stuff, but who doesn't? It's a bigger project. And we just talked to them, we need to use their name to be able to go after funds. So our goal is to get all the options, the scoreboards, the field goals, all the extras. We know the building's going to be somewhere between 90 and 100 to do the tower. And that's all we need to really get them up there. We don't need the other building right away. It's still in our plans, but if we could get them up there, then we could start transitioning the other things too. So they are going to do some practices up there this year, and we're going to lay out the fields and stuff. But probably a next year goal, next fall, would be to get them out there and hopefully have the building done.
What needs to be done to the ground for them to practice? I know it's kind of rough still, isn't it?
We aerated last year, and we've been fertilizing, and we put pre-emergent on there. Actually, no, we didn't on that one because we're seeding. We're seeding here in the spring as well.
What does Danville Junior Football pay for versus the park?
Really, it's a joint effort because our whole goal when we purchased Aiken was to spread out the leagues and their impact so that it not only helps them, but it helps the citizens too. So like in fall, you're going to have football and everything up in Aiken, Ellis Park, you can go and play and have fun and do whatever, and you don't have to worry about all the crowds. And then vice versa during baseball, Ellis Park is busy, you can go to Aiken and enjoy whatever there. And our whole goal really is to team up because it's going to be harder for someone to give dollars to us than it is to the football league. So if we can help kind of be that catalyst that kind of helps put it all together and then gets in front of, whatever big organizations we want to, like maybe the hospital, or we talked about maybe some dealerships or something too, say like, here's the full package, you can have your name on it. We have a naming rights policy as the park board as well, so we can lay out what the naming rights are and stuff too. But the goal is we're kind of the catalyst to push them. People are going to be more likely to give to them than they are to us, but they don't do it without. They just won't have the power because they're all volunteers and they switch over all the time. So that's something we talked about too was, that talk that we've always had of bringing all the leagues together. We think we can have that first talk. Would you feel like that, Kent? We're going to invite them all together, all 5 of the bigger leagues, bring them together and just talk about maybe some sort of joint venture to where they could have one website, one place to go, team up for sponsorships, background checks, all that stuff. So we're going to start those talks. Not anytime right away because I got a lot of projects. And I want to get some started and some completed. So, but I would say probably towards the end of the year, we need to have that talk because we have some really good league presidents right now that would be open to the idea.
When you say 5 leagues, where are the 5 leagues?
So we talked about baseball, basketball, football. We would probably still, I'd say Pee Wee too in there. Invite them
I'd
to the
lump them
table if
under
they're
baseball,
interested.
yeah.
Yeah, if they'd say no, then they say no. And then the other two would be softball and soccer. Even though they're not in our facilities, our whole goal is to bring all the youth leagues together. And it would be nice to have that big buy-in all together. We said it doesn't have to be right away. It's not a push. There's no pressure or anything. But let's start thinking about how it would look. And maybe it's a 5-year plan. The first year we talk. The second year we actually build a website. The third year we do this. And just work towards that goal of growing it. Because one, it's going to improve the athletics in Danville. And it's also going to improve the volunteering there. It should improve the sponsorship and communication, and great for us. We'll have one person to talk to. And the turnover shouldn't be as big, too, because there's going to be less time commitment for some of those people who are on like 5 boards, because it's going to only meet one time and you solve all 5 things at one time.
I like hearing that we would like to include softball and soccer.
Yeah.
I was on the soccer board for several years, and it just seems like they're out there on their own in
Yeah.
the corner. And I always tried to promote, if you're not going to play soccer, do something, get moving. So it'd be nice to see them all working together.
Yeah. It could be an amazing thing and it could be awful. So, but we don't know until we try, and that's what we talked
Exactly.
about. And football was the one that I didn't really know. Probably basketball is next to get to the table before we, make any formal meeting or anything. Just to make sure that they're interested too. Because I think if you don't get the big 3, it's going to be hard to get, anyone else to do it. So.
What the idea like a Danville Junior Athletic Board or something? That was our concept.
That's what.
Yeah, same thing, but maybe not call it that because we don't want to be AJA. We'd want to be something different, and maybe our model's completely different too, just because we are a little different, where they have their own spot and they have all the athletics kind of right there. We're a little bit more spread out, but I think it could ease the volunteering. Background checks would be way better. One spot, you're good for the year. Be cheaper that way. Bigger sponsorships and stuff like that. And, football is hurting for people right now. Volunteers, boards, he was kind of going through that. They're kind of in this downward spiral. And I'm sure it's, ebb and flow, but this could help some of that, I think, because if the time commitment goes down, it's not as much of a job, maybe find some more passion in it, too.
I can see subcommittees on certain things that goes across the boards, different ones, like officiating. And you have one subcommittee that deals in acquiring the officiating for all the sports.
Yep. Kind of spreading out the things that they're all doing. Each one of them has a website person. Each one of them has a money person. Each one of them has this. And, you don't have to divide the money all out. The money could still be in their own things. It's just you're coming all together and you're spreading, the percentage of all those other features that you pay full for now. So.
You asked on what we're paying for.
Yeah.
And everything else, but one of the thoughts was on like infrastructure items, if we could help with more of that. I think one of the things was down at the existing field that they had volunteers and they built the football tower. So there was like, well, that's our tower. And I don't know if it was who carried the insurance for it.
Yeah.
So it was like we had the property, but it was their structure. And I don't even know if you guys had keys to it at one point.
They don't let us have keys.
Yeah,
And that's
so-
why there's some of that
So some of that infrastructure, really, we probably ought to take initiative on it.
One.
It's ours that you're using.
And they change hands so many times, I don't think it's a good practice to not have insurance on that stuff. Because you know who they're going to come after when it does burn down and they didn't have insurance. So, it's going to be a better practice to take care of all the stuff that's in our facilities. They can carry the liability insurance for the playing part, but as far as the buildings and the structures go, that should be us. Because in the long run, even though they're supposed to be maintaining them, we maintain half of them. And then, it's just going to be better if we have. And I've already worked all that out with Kevin Hill, too. Because I guess we were like triple coverage one time. We have the same issue with the chamber about the Winterland stuff. Do they cover it? Do we cover it? And I'm like, well, we're going to have to cover the building and the assets in the building. And then we talked about, okay, well, what do they own? What do we own? So it gets in that sticky situation. But in the long run, it's both our programs. If it goes down and it's not covered, we're in trouble. So you got probably $1 million worth of assets in there. Yeah, expensive Christmas stuff. But, yeah, I mean, as far as paying for it, I guess it's more of our goals to help them find the funds to get there. And the way we kind of spread it off, it makes that easier to do. I think. Just the tower, the tower's 100,000, so there's their mark. So how do we help them get there? I could see maybe a big sponsor stepping in for 10, 20-year rights. School gets $1 million. A turf field. We're not asking for $1 million. And it's an impact of, maybe if all these leagues did get together, they could get those bigger funds. Get your name on softball, soccer, this for one package instead of just I only go to football. I guess it's back to an I don't know almost on that. Just to help them push forward.
Any other further discussion on the football league? Let's go on to item B, playground.
All right, I think I'm going to table that one.
Pictures on my phone.
Eric lost his phone, and we had some pictures. So there's a playground right next to North Park bathroom. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's in terrible shape. I'm embarrassed to have it up. It's got bent arms and stuff. I feel like it's kind of almost a liability, and we like to take it down.
Talked about that before.
Yeah. We tried to maneuver it and keep it alive, and then it's not worth saving. And
How old is it? I mean, it's old.
That one actually isn't that old. It's the last one we purchased.
That one is?
Yeah. So what happened is
Have we replaced that place set then before? It seems like there's been one there forever.
No. So what they did, I think it was
We
the
had the
first year I
springing
worked.
thing.
Yeah. The digger thing was over there too.
That was cool.
In 2005, they put it in the very far north part. And then I guess the park board didn't like the color. Thought it was ugly. It's pretty ugly. We painted it. They didn't like the color, so we painted it. And they didn't like the location, so we dug it up and then moved it, and it's really just never been the same since, because wherever we moved it to, it's in sand. So, it's got a little give to it, and it's just kind of gears and people parking over there. I think it's got a couple dents from people hitting it.
It's basically not up to standards.
Yeah. And,
Plain and simple.
we
But
feel like it's a liability.
It's a liability if we keep
Yeah,
it up.
where, the amphitheater.
And we've, the slide went
The
out in
playground
it,
that's
and it
over
was
there by
like,
the
what,
bridge.
$3,000 for a
Playset.
new slide?
Like
And the slide
bathrooms
is
and the play set.
this long.
It needs to come down.
So we boarded up, we're like, all right, we'll get a new slide, and then we're like, $3,000? Can't see spending that much on that. We could fix some stuff at Playscape for that. So I think it's just time that we.
And not replace it. Just
Well, I mean,
remove it.
someday. We've got some things in the works that may come up that maybe not in that exact location, but around there that could be good fits, because the only thing we do lose with it is we lose the factor of if you rent Shelter 2, there was a playground right there. Not that you couldn't walk,
Yeah.
an extra 100 feet and get to Playscape, but you could see your kids there, where
Yeah.
you can't see them at Playscape. Well, this time of year you can.
Yeah.
I guess we were kind of just looking for approval. If you want to go look at it, I'm cool with that. It's not like a super immediate thing, but I know we feel like it is.
You think it needs to go? I think it needs to go.
For sure, take it down. And then, I don't
Okay,
have an
so we
opinion
need a
until you
motion.
want to put something out. He wants to go do it now.
Yeah. I brought these sawzaws.
Now, we can handle
Yeah.
that. That we can do.
That would be fun. Maybe that's our next park board retreat.
Don't ask us to build stuff.
Yeah, but we can take it down.
We can take it down.
We have
I tried.
consensus on that. Okay,
That's all I have for that one.
okay, let's move on to old business. Item first is field markers.
All right, so if you go to, we'll call it page 5, the first big picture there. So, we kind of did some research after the last meeting and tried to find some more options for cheaper signs. And so it just so happens that somebody booked a party at the 4-H and they couldn't get there. He sent me an email. And I sent it over to Eric, and I was like, hey, can we get this guy into the Bostic? Turns out it's the sign guy. So the sign guy cuts us a deal. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. What do you have? So he cuts me out an example. Don't mind the color. My printer is horrible. I need to retire it. But so it's red. We'd go with maroon, and then the ball would be white. And then at the bottom, I think we do Danville Parks. We thought about, so the two little holes, there's a plaque that goes right there. That's where we would do the Danville Parks. And this would be two-sided. This one is 2 foot all the way around. The only bad part is the number is only, what do we say, 8 inches, I think. I wonder if it says on his email there. 2 foot sign, I got the numbers. Because I wanted him to do, because we did an example and I sent it to Tammy on 11-inch letter. So now to lose like 2 or 3 inches of the number, I guess not letter, it worries me a little bit because the signs are smaller too because they're the 2 foot. But they are cheaper and we are moving in a positive direction no matter what. But
8 inches is only the height of that.
yeah.
Of the paper. Small for driving.
So if we went with the 3 foot, the price does go up, but it's still $75 cheaper per sign
It's the height of it.
than the other ones that we
Is it going to
did.
be on the backstop, the top of the backstop?
Yeah, so each one will be on the backstop, and then it also comes with a color backdrop so that, because they're really, the front ones, he cuts them out with plasma cutter, and then you can put whatever color on the back. So we wanted to go with powder coated front so that it would be really nice and last really long, and then the back would be powder coated too, and then we sandwich them on both sides so you could see them from either side of the road.
You want to be able to see on either side.
Yeah, we want it because really what we're trying to do is if I'm grandpa and I'm coming to see, little Johnny, and he tells me, right
Grandpa's
now we
here.
don't have any numbers and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Each league calls them 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So if you said 2 and you didn't know which league, you wouldn't know where to go, and half of them don't have numbers on
But you
them.
can, but it's up against the backstop,
Yeah, it's
and you want to be able to see it's
From
number
the road.
one from both sides.
yeah. Because depending on where you come in, if you
You can
come
see
in from the
both
north
sides.
side or you come in from the south side, you only get, one view.
And if it's 3 foot, the numbers can be, what does this say?
10 to 11
10 to
and
11 and
3/4.
3/4.
So is the pricing for 2 of them sandwiched, or is that, okay?
This
we-
is
what's-
per sign. So this is the
Not per
maroon color
sign.
and the white. And then the other one would be a separate sign. So there'd be 12 signs.
Because
So
you,
it's 2 signs for one.
For every
field,
one.
then, is what you're saying.
Because we want to be able to see it on both sides. And my guess is these are gonna last.
When it's one
these will
sided,
probably
what's on
last
the
50
back?
years.
when it's just one sign, what's on the back? Solid white, solid maroon?
Yeah, it'd be solid maroon. Yeah. Because the front is stamped through, so you have to have it solid.
And then the back will be stamped through, so there's just one, it's like a cookie, there's just one center.
No, because there's fence in between.
You're going to actually.
Yeah,
you
so
can
we're gonna-
see- Ew, that's good.
1, 2, and 1, 2, and then we'll put it together. Plus, it'll be stronger. It'll have 4 holes in it with torque screws, so
Yeah.
that no one could get them out. Hopefully.
You kind of want that
Single
anyway,
one, but-
don't you? That's not a waste.
Yeah, and I think they'll be there forever. I mean, because we can just get them repainted.
Because
We
this
can
is
get
made
'em
out of what?
sandblasted and- What?
This is made out of what?
It's just solid metal, steel.
Wow. Okay.
And it is thick too. I wanted to bring it today, but I mean it's
Painted like this, it's completely sealed. It's not going to rust and stuff.
it's powder coated too, so that's like electrically bonding
okay.
paint to metal. That's not to say after a couple.
The children won't do that.
It's the rocks I'm worried about, not even the softballs. And he's local too, so he's in the baseball league, I think. He's in the
So-
baseball league. And
So $214 times 2
yeah,
for each sign.
field times 6, pretty much. 2 times 6. We don't have to do it right away. I mean,
Well, that's still a lot cheaper than that.
It's a little bit cheaper. Well, I was looking, I have the Team Fits quote.
That's on my computer. What was
And-
that one?
That one was 2200
For
for the 12 signs.
the same thing,
Basically, it was a baseball-shaped sign, die cut,
but for 12 of them.
yeah, for 12. I'm just not sold on baseball-shaped signs. I'm thinking we could find a company to make the outdoor street sign cheaper.
Just with the number on
That's
it.
just me, yeah, with the number on it, especially if this is gonna be a smaller number. That was the disadvantage of that one site.
Like a big or like a stop.
Well, yeah, it's like I just jumped online and found a nice decorative street sign then it comes with a protective coat and reflective coat, and you can have whatever you want put on there, and you could get 12 signs for less than $700.
I think the gauge would be the only thing I'd be worried about because hit a street sign, it's gonna dent. This isn't gonna dent. I think you could probably shoot this one with a gun.
So
Yeah,
Can I
what
bring
if, what
it
if
in
this
to
guy?
you?
What if this guy just made?
Yeah.
What? What if this guy just made rectangular signs that said 1, 2, 3, 4?
Doesn't
I don't think it's
matter
gonna
the-
change the
Doesn't
price.
matter the shape.
So all of this cutout and groovy stuff doesn't cost more?
Well, I mean, if you put like a lamination on the front of it, it's just not gonna last as long.
No, do the same thing just with the one, not all the baseball. That's still going to cost the same.
Oh, just the circle?
To get the number
like-
larger,
or-
if we just
or-
did something like a rectangular.
Or a rectangle or
Just to get the
whatever.
number larger, then, because you
Do
said
it.
the small, it said it was gonna be like an 8-inch number when we had that on there.
Well,
yeah,
11
yeah.
inch.
If you took out the stitches, I'm sure you could get.
If we just did just a
A
basic,
bigger one.
a sign, I mean, just to get the number larger.
You guys.
I like the looks of it, but it's a cost issue. Cost issue.
That's just my opinion.
He make one up that,
Yeah, I can bring it to you next meeting if you want. I mean, we got time. We can get
Never had them before. so
more
it's not-
rendition. Yeah, I know. We've waited 100 years.
Well, then you talked about how heavy it is. I mean, we're putting it on fencing backdrops. I mean, is it gonna be a problem with that, with the weight?
It should be fine because
It
we'll
should be fine?
sandwich it in there too, and we can do. I mean, he said he would make us a test one. So
Okay.
I mean, I could bring it in for you next meeting, and then we can just kind of make a decision.
I don't want
from
these
there.
wicked cool signs that we pay this money for to tear down our backstop.
we could send Tracy over in the cemetery and look at it, see how far we could see it.
Pop up behind the
I
gravestones.
can't see the cemetery from here.
Where are your glasses? There they are.
I see the cemetery.
Could you just bring one in so we could see it?
From
You like this though, don't you?
Yes, he does. You
It's
can
the
tell.
theme. I mean, you think I'm okay though. It doesn't. I'm not. Baseball sign. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
But if it's
gotta, I think we've got, we're gonna mark them. The fields.
Yeah, and that's the
'Cause
best thing about it.
Because
It's
I
like-
nod my head a lot when you guys talk about one of them, and I don't know
Yeah.
which one you're talking about.
Well, and then it's like, we also call them other names, like
Somebody-
Thompson Field and
yeah,
Barnett
forget it,
Field, and it's
forget
like,
it.
where is that? And now you can say Field 3 or Barnett Field, you
Yeah.
know, if you wanted to. I think that's actually Field 4.
Put it
but-
under wayfinding.
Yeah, wayfinding, exactly.
Okay, any other conversation on field markers this evening? Let's move on to the amphitheater.
Okay, so, quote it, printed out a little funny. So, with this one, so this is the basic shell. So it's the 4 posts in the top. And you can subtract tax out of there too. So it's really like $80,000. And then the quote we got for the install was 15, but I'm going to call it 20 just because of the incidentals, just in case.
So while we're at it,
Yeah, exactly. And then, so if you look, I finally, let's see here. So the very last, the title has mine, it's addressed to me at the top. It's got some squiggly lines. It says Blackline Studio at the bottom right.
Yeah.
So that one is what I was waiting on when I sent you the packet, was this one. And so this is for Scott Perkins to do, actually, if you read in here, I think it says what to do. Architectural schematic design, architectural construction documents, bidding, permitting, filing, construction administration, structural engineer services, electrical engineer services. So it's all the things that we don't, like beyond the shell, getting, you know, to get us the pretty pictures so that we can present it out to everyone. And that's really the biggest thing. And then also the foundations for the 4 pillars, to have an engineer come in and lay out, you know, what size we need for that. The price is high. I feel like it's high.
Is that much for
I know. And I actually reached out to Kent because he's in that world, and was like, "Hey, you know, I feel like it's high. Tell me what you're feeling." And he felt like it was high too. So I think we're going to reach out to another person, get a second quote. Pretty much, I like Scott, and he's a good artist guy, and he's local. So I mean, don't get me wrong on that, but the price does feel high, and I think it's not going to hurt to get a second look, anyways. I'm going to try to whittle them down, anyways, because I think we can work some angles on this.
What
You know,
would
maybe
you-
we can negotiate and
would
give
a good
him.
price
You know,
be?
maybe he can put his name in a plaque on there or something. You know, we can come up with something like that.
Is it
As an
like
option.
twice too high or just
But
a thousand too
When I was
high?
talking to Eric, I thought it was going to be somewhere 5 to 10, 10 on the high side, because I already have the meat and potatoes done. You know, really, you're putting pretty on it and putting a foundation in there, and then he wanted to do the electrical on it too, which I don't mind that. But
so you're referring to just the professional services, or you think are high? Or the whole package, the whole thing?
I think the whole thing.
Okay.
But there may have been things in there that I didn't think about too. The biggest thing for me is I want this to be done right. If I'm going to put my name to it, I want it to have the best we can with the dollars we have. You know, and we don't have very many dollars. So we add in this contract, and we add in the install of that, and then we add in the actual fee. That only leaves us around like 10 to 15 for brickwork. And I don't think that's going to get it. I mean, I was thinking 20 to 30 on the brickwork, but that's not to say, you know, because these funds will go into non-reverting, we could probably use some non-reverting dollars to maybe, you know, get that gap in between the two. But, and it's not like we need the bricks right now. You know, once we get the structure up, we're good, but the foundation needs to be however big we're going to make those brick pillars so that it'll have something flat and level to sit on. I don't know, it may be a good price, you know? I'm not for sure.
Who else would you ask?
Actually, Kent sent me over somebody, so.
Well, let's get that and do a comparison. We
One
get-
of the owners actually lives in Danville,
That business.
too, Andy Hines.
So is it an option to where one of, maybe you guys can, okay, to have me talk to one of you to move this forward quickly?
Definitely.
Why don't we just decide
Can't?
that
Okay. Is that, are you okay with
this
that?
is great if you find something better?
Yeah,
We're
I
all
don't mean to
cool with
volunteer
that.
you, but you're the one with this kind of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Awesome. That's really all I was looking for is just, because I want to get this moving quick, because if this is a good price and we move forward, I mean, I can order it. That's how good we are. We're like, right there. Because he can design all the stuff while it's being ordered, because it takes the 6 to 12 weeks or something, depending on how crazy we
Have
get.
you got like
So
a
I need-
timeline on it?
I don't want to give you a timeline
Okay.
until we got to go time.
Biggest thing is getting the building permit and security, so
Yeah,
that's part of what,
yeah.
Well,
And that's the one that could hinder us too.
you
That's
have
what
any idea?
hindered the Winterland building.
Getting a second bid will take how long? Talk to them yet?
Oh, I don't think it'll take very long. Maybe a couple days. I sent my stuff over to Scott on Friday when I got my final estimate, and he had it yesterday.
I mean, this is gonna be a jewel of the park. We want it to be really nice.
Yeah, and we'll get it to show it off quick.
Yeah.
other conversations on, or discussion on the amphitheater. Bill, do you have anything else?
No, I'm excited to get that final drawing. I mean, it's like a year and a half of hurry up and wait. And it's right on the tip of the tongue now, so. And I think we'll be glad that we did take our time in the long run, because we're gonna have a better
Okay, let's move on to the next item, Hargrave Tour.
Okay, I'm gonna actually ask that we do that after we adjourn, if you're okay. And some of the other things quick too. So financials, I'm gonna send you tomorrow from Jenny. And then wayfinding, I'll just jump into that. So I'm supposed to meet with Rick. So they came out, they did the survey, and they had some questions about stuff. He called me while I was on spring break. I answered them to the best of my ability without being there with him. He wants to go out and walk the site together. He's big on, I think I put this in here, was to stay out of the right-of-way, state right-of-way. And he thinks we'll still be able to make it, you know, because I think it was 20 feet from the edge of the pavement, but the center is like 50. Does that sound right? For the right-of-way on 36? Something like that. So it's like 20 feet from the curb
You
out.
should have had that done on the survey.
Yeah. And that's what he was telling me. And then he said height-wise, the mound would have to be 4 feet. And that's, I mean, that's, I told him I wanted it blank. We do that. Deal with that one.
Some wayfinding. DAC report?
With the DAC, numbers are doing really well. We started on the Hargrave upgrade, and we'll kind of go over that. It's been interesting, cool, and it's going to be a lot of work. All those things in one. We've discovered a lot of things, I would say, more than anything, wouldn't you? Some goods and some bads. But it does look cool, and I think it'll look a lot better once we trim everything out, put paint on it and stuff. It's going to go a little bit back to the nostalgic look. And we did find like a charm bracelet. in there from like old school, like 70s, and it's got like a clarinet on it and some other stuff.
Old school. Old school.
Was it an antique charm bracelet from 1970?
It's got a picture, a picture on both sides. I think it was like, it's a boyfriend, girlfriend or something maybe.
Well, if it had photography on it, it must have been.
Well, it's like circle and it's
It wasn't
opal.
the old days.
It was like Moses on
It
the
was a
tablet.
Polaroid.
Yeah.
Polaroid, all right.
But yeah, so it's been interesting. We'll go down there and kind of scope it out after this. Trying to think what else with the DAC. We had a bunch of meetings today, talked about some pool stuff. This is just kind of side note. Got some things knocked out for the pool, evenings in Ellis, kind of summing up what we have going there. We have everything's all set. We're just kind of working on sponsorship. We're a little bit down on sponsorship because they'll only give us half of what they normally give, or we would be perfect. So we're working on some options there. I think that's about it. In the programs, we also met with the Conservation Club today, which
Yeah.
could be a really cool partnership. They're looking to branch out and kind of be a little bit more in the public eye. So we talked about maybe doing a fishing derby. We did one maybe 10 years ago with them, but they weren't very active. Okay, I guess we'll. And now they seem a little bit more open. So they're having a meeting tonight or tomorrow, and they're going to decide if they want to be. They seem pretty cool, though. I mean, it's a perfect fit for us. We're right there by Aiken. They have a lot of good ideas, and they're trying to rebrand themselves a little bit to be more open to the public. Not open.
I was
More
going
open
to say
to
they have locked gates, they're
newness.
not open to the public.
Yeah. And so we have some ideas that we can maybe like team up and help with that. We also talked about maybe linking from our website of how to get super easy for us. Half the time people can't attack them.
What
Then we
all do
also
they
talked
do at
about
this point?
Do what?
What all do they do at this point?
Right now, they do a lot of like firearms training. If you're a member, you're allowed to get on the lake. We wouldn't be allowed to get on the lake. They like the idea of the fishing derby. And they do some kids training with airsoft guns or pellet guns.
Bench
Yeah.
shooting.
So we were talking about maybe teaming up with some of those things. I don't know what the liability of being able to do anything firearm related, but we talked about maybe kids with archery, doing some sort of archery thing, because we actually have bows and all the stuff for summer park program. So if we could get an expert over there that could maybe teach, it would be a real easy program to like, hey, here's an intro to archery.
Know of anyone that
Yeah, might know something. Yeah, that's true.
A few people that like that.
Yeah. Well, just making those connections, and then we can promote it, and it promotes both.
I had a family in the restaurant this week that said they were out walking. You're an old timer. You have a 1970 charm bracelet. What does the Conservation
Sorry.
Club do? And I said, I think it's still just target practice. When I was a kid, that was the outskirts of town, you know? So, yeah.
Well, and it was funny. He made this comment of, "We don't always want to be known as the people behind the wooden gate." But like in my mind, I was like, that is the perfect representation of what he just said. That's how I've always saw him. Like, what's back there?
Yeah. But that's what
It's
the
always
family was
locked.
like, yeah.
But yeah, so that should be a good partnership. What else do we have? We had a half marathon meeting today. We did secure the Ferris wheel, but he jacked the prices up on us, so it's going to be even more of a struggle to break even on the half marathon this year. But we have some ideas to work on that. We talked about actually, we've got a PR guy that may go out and try to recruit people to the donut states, pretty much the Midwest, and try to take our analytics from what we have and just target that audience who would come to. It's not really a gimmick race, but a themed race. Maybe we can get some of those donut. It's been a day full of meetings. And Easter egg hunt, on the 20th, 11 a.m. Rubber duck race to follow. Everything's pretty much the same with that. We're going to be getting some new waders and some nets and stuff, so we don't have anybody fall in this year. Dennis fell in all the way last year, too. Face plant. He was so mad. Good times, but that's all I got.
No, you've sold 38 garden spots.
Oh, yeah, 38 garden plots. So our marketing strategies are working really well right now, where we're trying to put more things on there and try to tell little tiny stories as we do it. So we went from the past 3 years, we sold around 20 garden plots to selling 38.
Already.
Yeah. So that's really good. I think we're going to cut it off because we'd like to have a little wiggle room in there just in case there's any problems, somebody don't like somebody, or the gardening community. Here's my spot. So we're working on tilling those this week, and we're out spraying, pre-treating the ground this week. And we're looking at Sam Thompson fixing the Little League dugout. Tops need replaced on them, but probably will end up doing, because of time, we'll probably end up doing a quick fix on it. Just because. But we're working on those things, just kind of letting you know. I think this weekend they have a jamboree. Is it a
I think
jamboree?
they're calling it a jamboree.
Okay, it is a
yes.
jamboree, and then next weekend's opening day. So our summer staff won't start until the following week, so we'll probably all be mowing. And just depends. If it rains a couple times, then we will be mowing, but if it looks like this, we're definitely going to be mowing. It's going to start growing because we put fertilizer. Time has come.
Discussion on the programs and reports. Public.
Lindsay also did navigate a bat this weekend. It popped out of Hargrave. Did you catch it?
Was it an antique bat?
It had a charm bracelet on it.
Oh, because of sideburns,
There was
right?
a dead bat in there. Leaks are so.
Yeah. If Sarah was down there, she probably would have tried to keep it.
Nope.
Saturday surprises, right?
They're harmless and they eat their weight in insects. So like mosquitoes and
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
One last night. Put it out.
Your friends.
Okay, well, after we adjourn, we'll take the tour of Hargrave. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.